Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us in these videos. My name is Anouk and I will introduce to you the industry experts that will share their knowledge with us. Our guest and expert of this video is the Vice President of Global Learning and Development at Accor Hotels. He is the chair of HSMAI's Revenue Optimization Advisory Board and has a passion for revenue management, pricing and marketing. Frederic Toitot, welcome.
Hello Anouk.
Hello, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure.
And in this video we will be talking about total revenue management and its impact on hotel profitabilities. Why does total revenue management matter? Why is it a question in the hospitality industry? Why are we talking about it?
We know that in hotels we are working in a service industry. Okay, so by service we mean some elements that are intangible, that you cannot keep, that you cannot smell, that you cannot touch, and that are highly perishable.
Yeah.
It means that if you don't sell a room or a seat in your restaurant tonight, it's gone forever, right? You cannot stock them. So for hotels, it's a question of every day, every hour, sometimes even for some departments, to find this capacity to optimize the revenue. At the same time, we have fixed capacities, meaning that when you are managing a restaurant, or especially when you're managing a hotel, you cannot sell more rooms that you have. You can sell less rooms, but then if you sell less of them, they will be gone for the other days because you cannot keep them, but you cannot sell more of them. So not only you have this highly perishable environment, but on top of that, you cannot extend or restrict your capacities. So if you take A and you take B, we come to this situation where every time, every day, every hour, we have to find a process to optimize our revenues. We've done that very well for rooms in the past and currently in the hospitality world. For the other departments, it's something that we are still struggling with. I'm sure, Anouk, you've stayed in hotels, and when you spend your money in hotels, you are not spending money only in the rooms most of the time. You are spending money in the bars, in the restaurants. Sometimes you are you are participating to a meeting or to a cocktail party, to an event, whether you stay or not in the hotels, by the way. The question now is how can we not only optimize the revenue of each of these streams, but make sure that they are complementing each other in such a way that the total revenue of the hotel is maximized.
My question to you now is that revenue management is not something that is new, or total revenue management. So why is it still something that needs to be addressed?
Well, there are different factors that we should consider here. The organization and even the culture of most of the hotels were set and developed around this room revenue optimization scenario. And we know that in rooms we had a revenue manager that was actually dealing directly with revenue optimization. That was not the case in the other departments. So we have that switch to make, even in the way we recruit people, the job descriptions that we set, the competencies that we have to have for head of departments in the, for example, F&B outlets, because they have to think and live revenue as well, and not only guest service and operations. So that's one of the main reasons. I would say also that there is a link to profits. The fact that in rooms you have very few costs attached to a room. When you sell a room, an extra room to a client, the variable charges are not so high. While when you are going to a restaurant or when you are going to a spa, the costs linked to this extra sale is quite important. So it has a huge impact as well on how we see revenue optimization. And some people were not, let's say, daring or willing to push for profits, because they saw those departments more as costs. Let's say lots of costs were originating from those departments, and basically it was a bit left aside in a way. So that would be the second main reasons, those cost issues. And I would say that the third one, that is a bit of a mix of the two first ones, is the complexity of all of that. I told you a little bit about that earlier. The fact that to manage total revenue management, you have not only to have people that are competent, trained, and knowledgeable about profit optimization, but on top of that, you have a lot of technology around that. You have to have systems. You have to have some tools that are going to guide you towards the right solutions, the right recommendations, the right decisions. And that's not easy, because those tools, those machines, are like Ferraris, so you don't want to have a driver that is only driving that small Toyota car while you have a Ferrari at hand. So that's very important that you get as well the people trained on that. And those tools are very expensive. So when you mix it all, you come to a situation where you start to be a bit afraid or cautious before going into this kind of total optimization. But as we saw earlier, this is a must. So it needs to be addressed. The good news is that now we've come to an era where the tools and the solutions are more user-friendly, adapted to the different types of hotels that we have. So we come to, let's say, a situation where we should be able now to come with easier solutions and easier decisions to manage our total revenue management.
So now we know what it is and why it's important, and that it's actually not so easy. How would you advise on how it should be set up and used within the hotel industry, within the hotels?
Very good question. It's all about, again, organization. You can't just start from one day to another and say, hey, let's go for total revenue management, and that's it. And everyone behind the GM, the general manager of the hotel, and let's go for it. It's much more complicated than that. Complicated but exciting too, because that's, at the end of the day, this is a real let's say a revenue optimization process for the hotel. So for me, the first important let's say step will be the first step is to make a kind of a review in your property of all those revenue streams that you have today or that you may have tomorrow, and assess them, what they are, what is important for them, how you get the money from all those streams. Once you have that on paper, what I will do is to make a kind of global overall strategy for the hotel with goals that the management of the hotel will have for each of those streams. So maybe to start with one department, try your best for making a difference there, and then maybe copy paste and apply this new method into your other streams. Right? So step-by-step approach. Very important as well will be for me to train the staff. Don't forget that one of the obstacles for a total revenue management application is probably how the culture of the hotel and the habits that your head of departments have. So it's a lot of training, coaching, and it can be in a classroom, but mostly the practical day-to-day development that the people can have in the operations. I would integrate all those new elements and thinking and reflections and decisions into the revenue meetings of the hotels. I would integrate a special area in those meetings where they will talk about total revenue management, or at least making sure that the revenue of the restaurants or the meetings and events are talked and shared, and all the achievements are, let's say, rewarded, and that people feel that it's really like not just an idea but a real application in the hotel. So it's very important that it becomes a daily reflex in the day-to-day operations.
So Frederic, from what you've explained and what you said, I understand that measuring it, the measurements are very important. Can you tell us a bit more about how to measure it, about KPIs perhaps? And
yes, well, we know in revenue management that analysis, measurements, KPIs are truly important, and for total revenue management that won't be different. We need absolutely to have a sound reporting of our activities, and if they work, if they don't work, if we need to adapt, how is doing the competition compared to us, because we can be very good, but if the competition is even better, and we're talking about the competitive set, those competitors that are next to us, sharing the same type of clients, if they're doing better, then it's not good enough. So we have absolutely to have in every hotel a kind of systematic approach where we are reporting, analyzing the data, and making sure that we have a clear understanding on how we perform. So basically, Anouk, we have to use KPIs.
We've talked about total revenue management, why it's important, why it's not easy, but what the ways are to be able to measure them. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us today.
Thank you, Anouk.
Thank you.